I love having sex with my wife.
Oh my God.
Yours is cuddle more? Did you see how I circled it first? It's like, oh, circle and check on that one.
Every man would circle that one first.
You would think, but some wouldn't. I've had men who have to get a divorce because they're not interested in sex.
I can see that.
You would be surprised at the things that exist. Every cliche has its exceptions and has its exact polar opposites of that. 1, 2, 3, go.
Jennifer Hardy, har.
Believe it or not.
Welcome to the Lawyer Dana Show.
The Lawyer Dana Podcast.
Wow, we have a lot to talk about.
And we're going to do it right after this.
Welcome to the Lawyer Dana Podcast.
I wish my husband would compliment me on my appearance more often, or I want my husband to listen to more and respect my ideas.
Ooh.
Listen to me more. Ooh, I picked that one.
This one's definitely trying to figure out words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
See, for me, it's I want my husband to listen to me more and respect my ideas. Not that he doesn't respect them, but I don't ever think he listens to me. And he'll be like, oh, I can tell you everything you just said. But I'm like, you're not looking at me, you're not paying attention to me, and you're doing other things.
In an earlier question, when you were talking about him giving you that cross, you detailed out like how well he listened to you. It was like a big compliment thing that impressed you about your husband. And now you're like, I feel like he doesn't listen to me.
But I'm serious, like when it comes to like, it's just like last night I was trying to tell him something and he literally like pulls out a case out of the cabinet and goes, look, my new computer's going to fit into this case and I don't even need this now. I can send it back. And I was like, see, I saved us $70. This is what he does in the middle of me telling him something. And then I'm like, okay, can I finish my story now? So he likes to do that kind of stuff to me. And I'm like, that's great, Daniel, but I was in the middle of talking.
Well, I've actually cheated. So on the bottom of this page, I'm actually going to fold this in so I don't look and try and cheat this again. Because I looked at the key.
I saw it, but I didn't look at it.
And so on this one, I'm like, oh, this is like, so it's quality time is the one that I picked. What I wish my wife wouldn't jump in to criticize my ideas rather than hearing me out. Mm-hmm. That annoys the crap out of me if she does that.
Right.
Like, and then I love it when my wife compliments my appearance. Like, I like it when she compliments my appearance. It's not that big of a deal to me. So this is basically choosing between words of affirmation or quality time. And I didn't really recognize that the second one was a quality of time question, but it's like criticizing my ideas. Like, it's hard to have a quality time if you start getting in the criticism. Like, so this is like a fine line between words of affirmation, because I would have thought that words of affirmation, that these are two words of affirmation distinctions, but I could see that A is more than B, and B is quality time. So, but I circled quality time, and like I'm going to give kind of a check to both of them.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, so 19, I can't help but touch my husband when he's close by, or when I have a lot of errands to run. I wish my husband would sometimes offer to help.
So, all right, so this will be the episode where I reveal this big thing. This word that my wife and I say that I created. I can't believe I'm going to describe this. I cannot believe I'm about to go into it and release this to the world of what this is. So, God, this is so... I'm just going to melt into the chair before we do this. You're melting the chair and making the mic pop. Oh, sorry. All right. So... Oh God, I don't even know if I can say it. I'm gonna need it in a minute, I think. So we say
back to school right now. Say it! Say it!
Can't do it. Say it! Say it! Fine. All right. I
happened to be out to dinner with Daniel the other night. This table across from us, me and Daniel were talking about back to school because of our podcast. I was like telling Daniel how we were talking about it. And the table across from us was talking about what's the jump he does, the Lindy?
Oh, the triple Lindy.
The triple Lindy. And they were like talking about that. And Daniel goes, are y'all talking about back to school? They were like, yeah, it's the greatest movie ever. And we're like, we're just talking about that. It's so funny.
What is the next one? I wish my wife would now and then run errands for. Nope. Nope. I don't want my wife. My wife does not need to run errands. So this is like total. Like, I'd rather have time with my wife than her do anything for me. And that's really strange. And maybe that's because Summer is always doing stuff. So maybe I'm just taking that for granted and just want the quality time. Because maybe I'm answering based on a deficiency of something. But I don't think so. I think no, I'd prefer to if we just sit and do nothing and we're just there. I'm happy and content.
Right. So this one's hard for me.
19 or 20?
The 19
19?
one. I don't really feel like either one of them. Not that that's where I have to work on the touchiness. So in our marriage, I was the most affectionate one, and he wasn't. So he kind of pushed back with me on affection. And, there's
Daniel?
What? Yeah, when we first were married, he wasn't the most, he didn't grow up with a very affectionate home life. So parents didn't really hug very much.
Did he have a dog?
Or kiss. He had a dog a little bit.
Did dogs sleep in the bed with him or any of that stuff?
No.
Yeah.
Whereas I grew up with 6 Cocker Spaniels,
Yep.
3 cats. My mom and dad
If you're in with animals, then there's a lot more touch. When
My
you're
mom
raising
was
puppies,
very affectionate with me.
if you have a litter of puppies,
we had
one of the instructions
3.
is touch them everywhere as much as you can, all of them.
Yeah.
Because you want them to get used to that touch, otherwise they're weird. And Worthy, you could tell never had that because Worthy is the most standoffish, and the other dogs, with the Dalmatians, because we had them since they were puppies, but Worthy, he's because we got him after he was grown and he had been astray for a while. He's hard to, and one of the reasons why he's probably really good in trees is he's always keeping steady. He doesn't have the trust to be you can't he'll resist as if just he's falling out of a tree, and he's getting better and better. But you really have to you have to rub his ears and you have to he's a slow into it, and then he can get there. And if you stop, he'll tend to move away unless he just literally is out cold sleeping.
So for
it sounds like Daniel's a Worthy.
Well, he was. He's not like that anymore. So it was weird. So I did it.
So what'd you do to get him not like that? Okay,
well, so I was
is that the wrong direction?
I was extremely affectionate with him, and then he wasn't with me. And then the wheels turned. I started changing my ways because when you're not receiving it and someone's more pushy back, you start to become distant from it.
Yeah.
Well, then he started recognizing and he started changing, that he became the more affectionate one, and I am now I'm having to start getting better at that because for a long time I wasn't like that.
Is the quiz helping you?
Yeah. No, I will say doing our marriage thing has been a big help for us too, because we were able to communicate that, and that was something, we had a workbook, and so there was a question in there, and I told him that's the reason why I became the way I was, is because you pushed me back. So it was for me, I was
a little bit of coping change mechanism.
Yeah, and so he's yeah, I know, I recognize that I was doing that. And then
but by y'all doing the work and and putting this work in and going through these programs and using tools like this,
right,
that's
so it's making me be more self-aware of that I have started doing that, because what I started doing is putting all my affection to the kids. I was hugging and loving on them, and our dog, I love and kiss on him.
That's a good thing to do, except you go too far.
Right. So
it can't be an either or; it has to be in addition.
Right. So when you're married, your husband has to be, or your wife has to be your number one. And too many people put the kids first, and it's the kids thrive under the protection of the umbrella of a healthy marriage. Right. They do. And kids see, when they see mom and dad happy and loving, and they have that kind of dynamic going on, it makes their relationship in their lives better. And plus, they're going to seek a relationship like that.
That's right.
Versus seeking something that might not be. Because if you...
The subconscious equates familiarity with safety, even if it's not.
Well,
So that's why they say little boys marry their moms and little girls marry their dads, is because the demonstration of what marriage is to your children that you do, and the demonstration that your parents did to you is what those children believe that marriage is, and their subconscious is familiar with that, and their subconscious tries to manifest that into reality. So when they see triggers and different things in the real world that are familiar, their subconscious is attracted to that, and it's something that actually perpetuates a generational curse.
And I think for Daniel, when he started doing divorces is when a shift in our marriage started happening, because he started seeing all this stuff going on in other people's lives, and he's like, oh, I don't want to have these problems. Like he started recognizing things that he needed to work on, and so he started putting that into practice in our marriage. Our marriage got better when he started doing divorces. Because then because
you see everything not to do wrong.
Exactly. And he saw things that like people were doing, and he was like, oh my gosh, I sometimes do that. I need to stop that, or whatever. And so that's what really helped us improve as a couple, was that piece. But, as we've done other things, to improve our marriage, the biggest thing with doing the thing with church was to improve communication. Because I noticed that we struggled with communicating at times, not communicating effectively, and, being more open to one another and being able just to kind of express our own thoughts and how we felt. Because that, to me, is something couples struggle with, because they're afraid of hurting one another's feelings. And you can't be afraid of hurting somebody's feeling. You've got to be able to be open and honest with that person about what is truly going on in the situation, so
you also
can
can't
fix
be
it.
Careless in telling them, or reckless.
No.
One of the things in going through programs and going through assessments like this, it gives you a framework in order to have discussions like that, and the tools that you need in order to get you from where you are now to where it is that you want to be, from wherever it is that you are now, into healthy marriage. And that one of the reasons, and what I just wrote down here to make sure that we say for the benefit of the show, is that, the reason that healthymarriage.com exists is because of healthydivorce.com, because we're trying to prevent anybody from having to get a divorce. And it's exactly what you said, is like, your marriage improved because of what we've seen. Well, we're taking this vast knowledge of what we've seen, of everything that goes wrong, a lot of things that we can't even say, but that we know, because we can talk about symptoms and all these different things. We can't talk about anybody's specifics, or about any particular people, unless we have their written permission, which we do with a lot, and you will get some of that through the podcast, for the people who have been generous enough. And some of the people we will be speaking and being guests on our show about what they've gone through. And those are going to be really good, exciting episodes, and really passionate type of episodes, and deep, to say the least. But the whole reason that healthy marriage, it's designed to make a bad marriage good, to make a good marriage great, and keep a great marriage great. And that's exactly what it is. And all of these tools, don't be afraid to use these tools.
Well, and
we're going to be doing not just this assessment. We have lots of assessments. There will be hundreds of episodes of the show.
Well, and do things like date nights, and do things that, take your partner and do something fun, and don't take advantage, or what am I trying to say here? I just lost my train of thought.
Date nights, just go to dates.
Date nights.
You have to spend quality time, and you have to make quality time, and you have to schedule quality time.
And it doesn't have to be.
If you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. None of this stuff happens accidentally. Disney's a liar. There's no such thing as happily ever after. That makes it appear like you don't have to put effort, or there's nothing to do.
Well, and don't think
that just tomorrow it's just the birds flying around singing and talking to you.
And don't think that it has to be something extremely expensive either. You can pack a picnic basket and go to the park and have lunch together, or you can take a walk and just talk.
There's
Spending
also
quality of
you
time.
have to figure out how to get either your job or your problems or whatever you have to figure out how to leave those behind so that you can be present.
Right.
Well, there's and there's sometimes where I'm just like, I have to apologize to Summer, and like I'm sorry, I'm here, but I'm not here.
Yeah.
Like, you got 8% of me.
Yeah.
92% of me is like, I can even have this conversation. I'm still not here. Like, I'm not like.
Well, I think couples need at least, once a month do something as a couple. Mm-hmm. That, and again, we don't even do that. We should be better at that ourselves. But, like I said, even if you're like, right now you're broke and you don't have any money and you're like, we don't have money to go out to dinner. Well, then, cook a dinner for your husband or your wife and like put the kids at grandma's house and have a night at home having dinner, or go for a long walk down the street, with your husband or wife and just talk. I mean, that's some of the stuff I enjoy. When we would go for walks and, sometimes he would put his earpods in and just want to listen to something. And I'm like, hey, I want to talk. Well, I think we all can agree in every argument that's out there that both parties are in the wrong and both parties have some right to it. I mean, most of the times in arguments, there's a 50-50 thing going on there.
Patience is an important tool.
I mean, yes, patience is an important tool. I'm not saying that like there's going to be an argument you're going to have and the other person's way out of line. I get it. But I do see a lot of times with fighting, it becomes like it's a tit for tat. That's all it is.
Well, frustration about something can also build the frustration, and you can get out of control, and then you start blaming, you start going, it's this ball that rolls downhill badly. And so I'll bring something else up about like Depp versus Heard, is for them, they had this weird dynamic of like, if you don't fight and if we don't go through this craziness, then they feel like they're not,
they love each other.
They don't love each other, and that they don't care. And there's some real dysfunctional.
There's some people that need the passion of a fight to have the passion in their life. I don't know why, but that
doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I get
there are
it.
people that.
I am not an advocate of that.
Their relationship is built like that. No, it's not good. It's not healthy. It is not healthy. It's not the way you want to be.
And it doesn't last. But in that being said.
Question number 20.
Yeah.
I would feel like giving my husband an award if he helped me around the house. I would feel loved if my husband's gifts showed signs of thoughtfulness. I don't agree with any of these.
Yeah, I'm an either on those. I'm an X on the gift. I'm a -1 on that, and then I'm a 0 about the swamped at work.
Well,
when I'm feeling, mine says at times when I'm feeling swamped at work, I wish my wife would see that and do more around the house. She does a lot around the house. That's not even. It's not the world that Summer and I live in. That's not.
Right.
So that one, I'm like, it's not a negative. It's just not. It's not anything. So
right.
I'm like basically not a circle. And then, but if my wife gives me a gift, I would like her to put thought into choosing it. Yeah, and the thought is, don't buy it for me.
I knew you were going to say that. See, and I have to be a no on both of these because, one, my husband does help me a lot around the house. He's very good about, starting the laundry or putting up laundry. Like, Daniel's great about doing the laundry. And
I don't know if you should say that online because now you're going to have women lining up at his door.
It's Daniel. Yeah, right.
Mr. Bauer, I'm getting a divorce, so.
Nope.
Aren't I pretty?
Yeah, nope. So, and then when I say thought, I mean, he puts a lot of thought in gifts, so. Yeah, neither one of those work for me.
Well, I would like her to put thought into choosing it, him into thought. I mean,
he does. He puts a lot of thought in my gifts, so I'm not like neither.
It doesn't say more thought. It just says, I like when he puts thought. That's probably the one you should pick.
Well, this one says, I would feel loved if my husband gifts showed signs of thoughtfulness.
Really?
And
mine says, if my wife gives me a gift, I would like her to put thought into choosing.
Yeah, so mine is different. Mine's saying if he does it. And like neither one of those work for me.
Interesting.
All right, so 21. I wish my husband would give me his undivided attention when I'm talking to him and not play with his phone. Oh my gosh, that's circled. And then it says, I would love for my husband to help clean the house. He does help me with cleaning. So it is B all the way for me because he cannot help but be messing around.
Okay.
That's his ADHD.
I wish my wife would give me her full. So I am a quarter of a point into both of these. Otherwise, neither one of them really circled. Like,
Yeah.
give me her full attention when we're talking and not look away or check our phone. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And keeping the house clean is an important act of service. That's what the housekeeper's job is at this point. Like, and we keep it like we both like for example, if I'm out of town for a week, I come back, the house is perfectly clean.
Yeah.
She goes out of town, comes back for a week, the house is perfectly clean. Like we both, our natural state is that the house is clean.
Right.
There's plenty of times where like if we come in and like, especially at times when we're both together, it's more likely that when we're both together, it won't particularly be clean because it's just how the schedule and things work out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like in general, we keep things perfectly clean and organized. And you saw when we were doing all this reconfiguring recently, it's like I can't function if it's completely disorganized. I need feng shui of like this major component. Like
I love
this
how
has to
you
be
say
rearranged.
that. Feng shui.
Yeah. It's the art of placement. It's true. It's important. And so, but once we got the main pieces in there, then everything just naturally falls into place by our natural existence. But if there's something like that's like, you know, like the wheel can't turn, that has to be fixed first, you know, like, but for these, I'll give him both a quarter of a point.
Okay.
Otherwise I wouldn't select him at all. 22.
Okay, I look forward to seeing what my husband gives me for my birthday. I want to hear my husband say how much I mean to him. Mine is, I would like to hear how much I mean to him.
Yeah, I checked that one. I X'd -1 on the, I look forward to seeing what my wife gives me for my birthday. First, I've forgotten that I even get things for my birthday. In fact, we don't even think of it that way. We go, where are we going out to dinner for our birthday? Why? Quality time.
Right.
Like that's why we love going out to dinner with each other, because quality time is our love language.
Yeah.
And to us, it's like it doesn't even occur to us that there's anything else besides that.
I realize, and doing this, I actually was just thinking about this. Every time Daniel asks me what I want, lots of times I will say to him, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need anything. You don't need to buy me nothing. Save money." That's what just like what I say. Save money. You know, don't worry about it.
Save money could be a quality time issue because money allows freedom and.
But this is what I recognize. I think what I like the most, like I think about, like my necklace means a lot to me, and I'm glad he got it for me. But the one thing that I enjoyed the most with him was the time we went to Vegas for our 10-year anniversary. Like it was a trip that it was just me and him. We didn't have the kids.
I bet you were going to come out high on quality time.
It was like, it meant so much to me. We had a lot of fun. We could just talk and be together.
I still get happy when I even think about and hear you talk about that.
Yeah, like that he put a lot of thought into it, and it just like, I don't know, we don't get a lot of vacations. And so when we did that, just me and him, that had been the first trip we had taken since our honeymoon.
You're about to be taking a lot more vacations.
Wow.
as things, with what we've got planned and coming up with Palmer Law Group, like you have a tremendous amount of freedom. Like it's just a much more entrepreneurial endeavor, and it's I think for everybody with where we are now and where we are progressing into and how we're setting up for that, and with a lot of the different growth, because right now Palmer Law Group has this great administration that the amount that we're delivering here, we can at least do 4 times as much right now with basically not any more effort or time, and with the percentages of how you know how everything balances out, because our business is run based on strict percentages, and that's what allows it to work really well and manage itself in a lot of different aspects to where you're not having to, like you're more of a coach and everything really takes care of itself, and it's how great, and just runs phenomenally well, as opposed to not having that. But in that, you're going to have a lot more freedom in like places that you're able to go and do the few things, and because things have so much momentum and they're so well designed that it runs without you having, it's a machine that runs without you having to stand there and feed widgets into it all day long.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so 23. I wish my husband gave me more gifts, or I wish my husband would help me without me having to ask. See, I'm neither on these. Because he's good about
I'm an ish. Like I'll give it another 1/4 of a point. I wish my wife would sometimes surprise me by helping me with a chore I dislike. No, I wish my wife would figure out a way for that chore to be automatically done without us having to deal with it.
All right.
And as long as I am doing something more valuable, more profitable, that pays for that chore to be done by somebody else, it's the same principle. If I'm more profitable by doing this and can give somebody a job to do this thing, it has to be efficiently done and valuable to the person that's doing that task and to us to do it. And it's not that I mind doing any particular task. There's actually, the only time I actually have chores that I dislike or is because I have something else I have to be doing, and this is stopping something that's more productive, and especially if this thing that I have to get done impedes other people from being able to be profitable or efficient or whatever. Like if I'm the choke point for the business and this chore's in the way, then I hate having to do that chore. But like there's no, that principle, like there's some people that say, I wouldn't ask somebody to do something I'm not willing to do myself. Technically, there is things that I would ask and pay somebody to do that I'm not willing to do myself, and that's one of the reasons that I'm paying him. But most things in my life and realm and purview are things that I'm happy to do myself, but I just can't a lot of times because like when I'm doing things that take 100 people to do, I can't do any of them. Usually, I have to like decide this all has to be done. I hired this team to make sure these are done. I hired this team to make sure that these are done. This team, and like if any one of these things requires me to do it, the machine's going to break. It's just the as an entrepreneur, that's the mindset of things that we have to be in. But like just like mowing the lawn, we have to have somebody that takes care of mowing the lawn. But I love to do it now. Even when I was a kid, it was a chore to me. But now it's like serenity. It's peacefulness. Like I love doing the tasks of that so that I'm not worried about all 100 of these things. Is a true escape. And a lot of times, like even there are times that whole not being present thing. And when we go on a vacation, there are times where I'm on vacation. It just happened recently. Like I went to Orlando for half a day, full day, and then half a day, and the whole trip was miserable. The whole thing, like I wasn't present at all for it, and like there was no magic at all. Even though like we went to Disney for some of it, it was like, and there was kind of this like almost the window opening, and nope, and didn't do it at the last one. So that whole not present thing is a big deal. All right, 24.
Yeah. It bothers me when my husband interrupts me when I'm talking, or I never get tired of receiving gifts from my husband. Gosh, it's like gifts.
I know, right?
No, I think I don't like it when he interrupts me.
I can't stand being interrupted. Like it's and being interrupted is a major thing. Like yeah. And I interrupt people a lot, and I know it's bad, and I recognize when I do it. And sometimes I still like I'm hoping that it's okay in the podcast. Since I'm the host, right? But I'm still trying. So I'm trying not to interrupt people, and I still do a bad job.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan does a great job at that, by the way. If you've ever watched his podcast, he's a really good listener, but he's thousands into it. I guess we're only like dozens into it.
Yeah. Well,
all right. So I'm an X on the gifts, and I circled the bothers me when their wife interrupts me, I'll give that a point. All right.
All right. Next one. I would like for my husband to offer to help me when I'm tired. And it doesn't matter where we go. I like going places with my husband. I'm going to go like going places with my husband.
So on this one, my options were I want my wife to help me out when I'm tired. And on that one, I'm I'm just going to leave it at a 0. And then this one, I wish my wife was as enthusiastic about going places as I am. It's not that she's not enthusiastic, but I do at least twice as much traveling as she does.
Well, you like Disney a whole lot.
Well, I'm going so.
And she's more universal.
That's true, but in the Disney-ish, like I did suffer a trauma where I thought she was going to die at Disney because she got food poisoning, and I'm not past that. And I've actually gone to counseling about that, and the counselor was like, "Well, you went through the trauma." I was like, "What do you mean I went through trauma with that?" And as I've thought about it, I was like, and I've heard descriptions of like actual PTSD. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I have PTSD. I'm saying maybe I did go through a trauma with that, because one of the characteristics is, did you think that a loved one was going to die? And I absolutely did. Like, there was a point where I was worried, oh my God, Summer's dying, I'm losing Summer. No, please God, no.
Right.
Right. It was worse than that. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to say it for the benefit of saying it, to get past it without thinking about it too much right now. But I did talk about it with a counselor, and he described it as trauma. And I've thought about it. I was like, okay, like, I don't feel like it was trauma. Like, some intellectual part of me knows that it was trauma. Mm-hmm. But and then going back for that short trip, like, it may be a lingering of that. Plus, it was too short. There's a lot of different things. But I'm not going to Disney for the sake of going to Disney. I'm going to Disney because it's a good environment. The theme of why we're going is, this is how entrepreneurship is supposed to be. A business is supposed to run like this, like it's magic. Right. Walt Disney ain't here as the entrepreneur. Right. We are the Walt Disneys of our businesses, and we have to make them run like Disney runs, and do that. And it helps our mindset, and it's also, Bill likes it. And Bill goes to the rides. And Bill, Bill being with cerebral palsy and disabled, mm-hmm. like, he doesn't hear. The reason why he doesn't like Universal, and Universal, if you're watching this, pay attention. And his exact quote is, "They don't treat me like I'm a king there," and Disney treats him like he is special, valuable. There is that magic of it, right. As opposed to Universal is like, what's the Universal magic? Like, and they should do something like that. The Universal magic, the Universal theme. The universal something
experience.
The universal experience. The something, and they've got to get that. But even the idea and mindset of the Disney magic, as it's exceptional. And so that's just the place that Bill and I choose to do our mastermind sessions. And but yeah, I mean, and every time, like, I'm like, oh, it's a special occasion if Summer comes with me. Like, to me, like, and she's the VIP with me and Bill. Like, we everything is like subservient to that. Because really what we're doing is we're having business meetings at the meals, 2 to 3 business meetings a day, mm-hmm. and we have a very intense meeting at the meal, and then it's like, all right, and then we'll go and like make phone calls or different things, and 15 minutes we'll ride a ride real quick. So we happen to be at Disney, but it's more like sans affair of the place that we happen to choose to meet, so that we can have these in-person meetings. Because we have to meet somewhere, so fine, we'll do it at Disney.
Why not at Disney?
Yeah, right. So that's the reason why. We're really working. We're not particularly on vacation. It's just a nice environment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally does. Better than sitting in a hotel lobby.
Yeah, and we've done that. We've done that as well.
Yeah. I wish my husband and I cuddled more. I wish my husband would surprise me with a gift more often.
This is hilarious. Are you serious? That's what it is?
Yep.
The guy's version is, I love having sex with my wife.
Is that really what it says?
I love having sex with my wife.
Oh my God.
Yours is cuddle more? Did you see how I circled it first? It's like, oh, circle and check on that one.
Every man would circle that one first.
You would think, but some wouldn't. I've had men who have to get a divorce because they're not interested in sex.
I can see that.
You would be surprised at the things that exist. Every cliche has its exceptions and has its exact polar opposites of that.
Well, if you're a man and you don't have the desire, you need to go get testosterone, because that's probably your problem.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Okay, so, all right, then this one, I like it when my wife goes, dramatic pause, everybody to insert their inappropriate comments or where this is going, to the store and picks up a little things that she knows I'll like. Nope. That takes away from time. Like, why are you going to the store? At Whole Foods delivers, Amazon. Click our link. So I like. Does any man actually pick? I like when my wife goes to the store and picks up little things she knows I like. Over I love having sex with my wife. Has any man in the history of this survey?
I didn't know either.
You what?
I started to raise my hand, but I didn't realize
It's an either or. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it is.
seriously? Like, every man picks 26E, like their first option. Wow. All right. So on 27, I'm giving circles and checks to both of those.
Okay, so 27. My husband encouraging words give me confidence, and I love to watch movies with my husband. I like both of those.
I like both of those too. Mine is
like
I
watching
wish my
movies.
wife would be more encouraging. Okay, it's not that she's not encouraging, but would I even say be a little more encouraging? Yeah, okay, good. I'll take it. That's important to me. I like that. Then I love to watch movies with my wife. That's got to be a quality time one. And yes, we do. All of our dates when we were dating, dollar movie theater, half price Tuesday. And she thought I was frugal. She didn't know I was broke. There was one day where I had a $5,000 check, earned fee. It was my money, but I had to deposit it, and it wasn't available till the next day. And otherwise, I had no money available in my checking account, and I had no cash, and I'm like searching the couch for change. I got to come up with not even both tickets, which, by the way, the dollar movie theater was actually $1.50, and on Tuesdays, half price was 75 cents. I don't even need to buy. We'd set a precedent. We don't buy snacks or popcorn, right? And I don't have to buy her a ticket either. I needed 75 cents for this date. And I didn't have it. And I'm like, all right, I pulled this off. I'll show up late to where she'll get there and she'll know, he's running late. I'll just buy the tickets. And I bet if I roll up late, she'll be standing there with the ticket and we'll be ready to go in. So I show up late, roll in, she's got the tickets in her hand, we roll right in. We don't bother going any concessions, it doesn't even come up because we're already late and we're just going in. And so we walk in, and I got away with spending zero money because I had no money, and she did not know until after we were married.
And then you told her.
That's such a solid story.
It is solid, right? Like, that is player extreme.
I mean, it's very Dave Chappelle half-baked. Steal money from the homeless guy to buy ice cream.
It's like that joke. It's like, you know the joke about the guy that threw up on his shirt? He's like, he got drunk at the bar and he threw up on his shirt, and he's telling the bartender, he's like, my wife's going to kill me. She said, if one more time I got drunk and did this, then I'm dead meat. And the bartender goes, look, you're fine. Here's what you do. You take $10, you put it in your shirt pocket, and you say some other guy puked on your shirt and he gave you $10 for your dry cleaning. He's like, that's brilliant. All right. So he goes home and his wife sees him. You threw up on your shirt? You got drunk again? He goes, no. Some other guy threw up on my shirt and he put $10 in my pocket for my dry cleaning. And she looks in his shirt and goes, this is $20. He goes, yeah, I forgot to tell you. He also in my pants.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Has Daniel ever done that? Hey, has Daniel ever come home with $20?
No.
All right,
gosh.
28. We're almost there. It's only 30.
I wish my husband would give me a gift for no reason. I would love if my husband touched me more.
So yours is, I would love if my husband touched me more. Mine is, I just can't keep my hands off my wife.
Oh my gosh.
When was this? Is this from the 90s or the 70s or something? When was this from? Is there an updated version? I did print this one out. I've been using the same copy for like 10 years. Maybe I need to check and see if they've is there some built-in chauvinism in this or something? We know your audience. So obviously I circled, I just can't keep my hands off my wife. I really can't. I really can't. And if I received a gift from my wife, I would feel appreciated. Nope. I would feel uncomfortable, and it would make me not want to touch my wife.
Oh my God.
I would still touch her, but it would make me not necessarily want to. Come here, make me feel better by touching me, because I feel really uncomfortable that you gave me something.
And I picked, I would love it if my husband touched me more.
You're welcome, Daniel. There you go. This has made it all all worthwhile for you.
All right, next one. It means a lot to me when my husband helps me despite being busy, or I wish my husband would say, I appreciate you.
So
I think I
on
said
mine,
A.
what did you answer?
I think I said, I wish my husband would say, I appreciate you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because that's the one I circled and checked. So a full point. On the other one, it's I know my wife is busy, but sometimes I would love it if she would help me with things I have to do. I mean, I'm a half a point with that one. But I mean, and she does that. Like that's not. It's.
Yeah.
But I would really like it if my wife said I appreciate you. Yeah. I just that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Clearly, one of my love languages
Well, I think
is
that
words of
makes
appreciation.
anybody feel good.
What is it? Is it words of affirmation? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The last question.
One. I love embracing with my husband after we've been apart for a while. And then I want to hear my husband say he misses me when I'm gone. I say both.
I say both too. I would say that I love embracing my wife after we've been apart for a while. Like that's the best. There's an expression it's called "give them the gift of missing you."
Yeah.
And like that. Yeah. Like I know like if we haven't seen each other for a few days, like there's nothing else I'm looking forward to more than seeing her. All right, so
we add it up.
We're gonna add this up. So here the results. They're basically 5 options. There's A, B, C, and D, and E. So A is words of affirmation. B is quality time. C is receiving gifts. D is acts of service, and E is physical touch. So let's on this. We're gonna grade it 2 different ways. We're gonna grade the ones where we like did a clear preference, and then we're gonna grade the ones where we like picked both.
Okay.
So the clear preference is where you can only pick one.
Yep.
That's actually what they say to grade it. The yes, selecting.
So you just
2
count it
yeses.
like 1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you count the A's first and the B's. So you got all 5 right? Wow. So then you count them again. But if you said yes to it, then you count it.
Oh, okay.
So you don't, instead of choosing one or the 2, you like if you chose both of them, like you count everyone. So everyone that you like checked yes, regardless of what the other answer was, add all those up.
Okay.
11. Okay. So, all right, you got your results. You did them both ways. I don't know how you did it so fast.
Oh, well, I separated my papers and.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So where are you? What are your results? Where are you on words of affirmation?
I have 9.
A 9. And then on the so is that the preference one, like where you picked one or the other, or is that the total ones that you checked? Or how did you grade yours?
I added it. So 5 was like if I picked it all together.
Okay.
And then a 4 was if I checked it. So it was not all together.
Oh, I see how you're doing.
Yeah.
You graded yours differently than I did.
Okay. Did I not follow?
So on mine, I got an 8 and an 11 on words of affirmation.
Okay.
So 8 times I picked it over the other option,
Okay.
and 11 times I said yes to that. Like I would pick it if I, like that's an absolute yes. Okay, then what was on quality time?
7 and then a 3, and so 10 altogether.
Okay, so on mine I was a 7 and a 10.
Okay.
7 times I picked it over the other option, and then 10 times I picked it like out of the.
Oh yeah,
option.
I totally just different from you.
Yeah, you did. It's interesting that you did it that way because it gives information too.
Yeah.
All right, receiving gifts. Where are you?
1 and 1.
1 and 1. Wow.
Yeah.
So I was a 0. I never picked it over any other option.
Yeah.
And I was a negative 11 because I X'd it if it was like negative. So I'm negative 11 on receiving gifts.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right. So acts of service.
A 1.
I was a 1 and a 4.5.
See, I thought I'd be higher on acts of service because I like, but I'm really recognizing this is for someone doing for me versus me doing for somebody else.
Interesting.
Yeah. for me doing for others, I love acts of service. I love doing things for people. So that's kind of weird. I don't really like it for myself though.
Which one? Well, what's then finally physical touch? What was that?
A 9 and a 2, so 11 altogether. So physical touch was my highest one, which is funny because that's the one I feel like I struggle with.
So apparently I'm a man's man because I'm a 12 and a 12. I don't think there's more than 12 options on it.
Yeah.
Every time it was physical touch more than others.
So physical touch, quality time, and words of affirmation seem to be my.
So what were your overall numbers?
So 9, 10, 2, 1, 11.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was basically 11, 10, negative 11, 4.5, and 12, which I actually think is a very, very accurate. Although I would think quality time is more important to me than words of affirmation. But I got one more on words of affirmation than quality time. Although I'm not sure if it's a balanced question. I would assume it's balanced, that you have the same number of options for any of them.
Oh, this is funny. If points totals for 2 love languages are equal, you're bilingual and have 2 primary love languages.
Well, then I have 3 because, I mean, I would say, well, physical touch is on their scale. Physical touch, I was a 12, and then my secondary words of affirmation and quality time was 8 and 7. And then like acts of service was only a 1.
Yeah.
And receiving gifts is a 0. Like it's just not.
It's interesting.
I guess I'm an intellectual person, or I gotta touch you or something.
Yeah.
I'm like when I shake hands and things, like I'm a hugger. I hug people.
Yeah. This is cool.
Cool assessment, right?
Yeah.
Help in your marriage?
Yeah.
Well, it can help on your marriage too. This is not an assessment that we put out. This is by Dr. Gary Chapman.
Yep.
And you can find it at, I think, the5lovelanguages.com to take the test. I think
And
it's
there's
free,
a
and they probably have
Facebook
some-
for 5 love languages too.
And so maybe we have a link but go to healthymarriage.com, and this is something that you will find, and we'll do as many links and things to promote that, and maybe we'll set up an affiliate link with them, because I mean I've used this quiz so many times that have helped so many people, and it's helped my marriage. It seems like it's going to help your marriage now too, and stay tuned for our future episodes, because we have a lot more of these type of things that we're going to do with you. Some of them are even more fun and more exciting and more interesting than this. We're going to probably do the how to fascinate. We're going to do the work styles preferences. We're going to do Colby. We're going to do DISC. We're going to do what are all the other ones? Myers-Briggs. We're going to do all that stuff. And if you are a client of ours, you can understand us and know us better. And but like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next episode of the Lawyer Dana Podcast.
Bye.
The Lawyer Dana Podcast.